Okay, I'm waiting for this is Balchi, so Italian. That's from Worcester. I forgot Clark University. Worcester was my father. I think you can still hear me. You can still hear me, yeah, but not see me. So I'm sure they're private. But I'm gonna record this. It's like you got to always record. He's recording me. It's just a joke. And then I had this one I had recorded a kid. It had nothing to do with underage, and then too low, right? Um, I guess terminated me because I recorded and put it on my channel, but they can record all of ours, right? It doesn't make sense anyway. That's all about privatizing, and so hopefully get on with them. Let me see, get rid of this. So just waiting on Dr. Erkin. So yeah, that you can hear me again. All my problems. I want to be honest with him. I'm going to ask him first if he's ever been to China, because sometimes these administrators just work from. They have no idea how different and how difficult it has been, especially now. And then I think the other thing was like a part time. I don't know how they escape part time. They can really leave you high and dry, these programs in China. So just wait for him. Let me keep talking, I guess, if you can hear me. So this is Cliff Tom again. You see the date, right? It is December 19th here in Thailand. So I'm happy here. I just had, I think some food issues, belly issues. Lay off the booze as well here too. I don't know how good the whiskey is. Well, not to say that it's not the whiskey. It's just I wonder how much it's diluted, right, to make money. So all these bars. So there's so many bars here. It's highly competitive. But I think my days of going out maybe once a month, twice a month here maybe. Just getting too old for that, but we'll see what this Dr. Balchi is about. Let me use this again. Okay. Background noise suppression, automatic adjust noise suppression. Good. We got all these things. Ringtone, volume, profile. Good. Gmail account. Yeah, edit my profile. I don't know. No, I'm just gonna wait. Launch meeting again. So wait for him for about 10 minutes, and then if not, let's see my emails here. So that's him. And that's, what's this one? Sean Jeng. Next up, Teacher Tree. What is this? Teacher Tree. Let's see. Join our team. This has got to be free. Is it a free? Refugees. If this is free, is this a non-paying? Okay, Teacher Tree has been very helpful. Yeah, not sure. Lingo Star, yeah, remote. Okay, so now join. Yes, great. Hello, Dr. Balchi. Apologies.
Good morning. Good
Yes,
morning. You can call me
apologies.
Arjun. We don't need doctor
Okay,
or anything
okay. How
like that.
about paisano? Paisano. Che dici,
You
paisano?
pronounced my last name pretty well, actually.
Mia nonna è norte italiana, milanese.
Well, mine is Turkish, but it sounds like
Ah,
Italian.
so you're Italian Turkish.
No, there is no Italian, just Turkish, as far as I know.
Really?
Uh,
Okay,
yeah, that's a
interesting.
very common last name in Turkey. The
Really?
last two letters are generally used with different sounds, but they are very similar in
Wow,
many
yeah,
names.
you have such a unique Turkey is the middle ground of East and West, right? So you have
Yeah.
such an interest. I've never been, so I must come to visit one day for sure. But yeah, what a lovely culture. Interesting. Yeah, very interesting.
So thank you so much for joining tonight. Last night, the timing might
Yeah, yeah.
be a little bit.
Apologies,
Yeah,
Dr.
that's
Balchi.
okay. No
Yes. Okay.
worries.
Okay.
I just wanted to meet you and tell you a little bit more about this position. This is not an interview. This is a friendly conversation. I'm here to give you information, and then if everything is fine, I will send your CV, and the cover letter to my
Okay.
colleagues at HFUT, and then they will arrange, an interview that I will join as well.
Great.
But for now, I just want to give you as much information as you want,
Okay.
and then we will go from there if you're still interested in the
Sure.
position.
Okay.
So can you tell me a little bit about yourself in terms of your English teaching career? Because when I look at your CV, you had lots of great experiences around the world,
Yes.
but they're not about teaching. Well, there's some of it about teaching English, and I didn't see any certification for English teaching, but you seem to have taught classes, English classes in different countries.
Yes.
So can you tell me a little bit about this?
Sure, yeah. And so I was born in Chicago. I've got two. I was very fortunate to attend a private high school there. Obama's daughters went to a similar school he taught, right, at one of our sister schools
Yeah.
there. So I have two undergraduate degrees in English literature and integrated strategic communications from the University of Kentucky. I had actually transferred there. I was a baseball player. I went into business first. That was my first
Yeah.
en lude, I guess, en français, right, into the world. My father was in business, and then my mother was a French teacher, right? So two
Okay.
different halves.
Yeah.
And then I think you're familiar, right? 2007, 2008, the Western world financially
Yeah.
collapsed. So I was seeing someone at that time, and she had traveled the world. She was teaching in Egypt. I was talking to my mother. She said, "Well, why don't you finally use your English undergraduate degree and go teach?"
Okay. Yeah.
And so I speak, right, tre lingua romanticas, a little bit Espanol, Francais,
Yeah.
Italiano. So I was like, well, why don't I just go somewhere close? Mexico. I've always loved to travel to Mexico. And then hence that path. Dr. Balchi, sorry, I'm giving you respect, right? So Dr. Balchi.
Thank
And
you.
then I
appreciate
changed
it.
paths. I finished my master's degree from USC. I am licensed in Florida to teach, but as you know, the whole system now has changed over the last 3 or 4 years, where you need to now either have an undergraduate in teaching in the U.S. or spend, pardon me, let me get rid of this pop up, or spend $3,000 to $5,000 getting licensed, right? Which over the last couple of years, I don't know. I didn't know how much longer, especially after the virus and being displaced from my wife. So backtracking, my wife is Chinese, and so and as well as my son. So I've been teaching in China for about 10, 12 years. I came down to lovely Thailand 4 or 5 years ago, about 3 days before Wuhan. So then I was displaced for about 3, 4 years in this lovely part of the world, which I enjoy very much because my wife is from northern China. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Have you been able to teach, Dr. Balchi, in China or?
Well, I taught online during the pandemic,
Okay.
and I visited the campus right after the borders opened in
Right.
China, which was a little bit later than everywhere else in the world.
Right.
But no, I had the pleasure of teaching HFUT students online for
Okay.
a couple of years.
Great, yeah.
And they are great students.
Yes.
And I taught other students as well. Clark University had two partner institutions
Great.
in the past, and then we reduced it to one.
Yes.
We picked the more prestigious one which is HFUT. The other one was
Yes, yes.
ESTAS. Yeah.
Yes, interesting. And then just most recently, I went back. There are opportunities to go back, but I don't know if you know the history. So northern China is definitely from Beijing on north
Yeah.
is definitely
Hmm.
more nationalistic
Yeah.
and more government centric and
Hmm.
centered.
Hmm.
So I went back there. I was the only foreign face in my wife's city of 500,000 people. I was
Hmm.
stopped by the police 3 times. What are you doing here? That was the first time that has ever happened to me. Obviously, with the tensions geopolitically
Yeah.
with Russia, and they all thought I was Russian, hiding out from the war, the Ukrainian war there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd entertain another offer, but I think I would. Right, this is why I applied, like to have the protection, right, of an
Hmm.
Asino American, right? My own country, a
Yeah.
Sino American
That's right.
group.
Yeah.
Just
Hmm.
because I still think, and now with the tariffs that President Trump has been very voiced.
We don't
Yeah,
know.
yes,
Yeah. There's so much uncertainty that
right,
we're all waiting to see,
yes,
hoping that
yes.
maybe things will be better even. I mean,
Yeah,
for
you don't
international
know,
education.
right? But I
It,
just felt, the
yeah.
Chinese are very
It,
sometimes overreactive, so they just like
that's right.
So I just felt the
Yeah.
time was to come back down,
Hmm.
yeah, and then see what the next year offers. Yes, back in China.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this program has been going on for about 10 years. So our relationship is getting stronger, I would say. We are talking about starting or morphing this program into an institute. So currently we have only one department, International Economics and Trade Department, that we work with, and they have about 400 students. Every year, their incoming students cohort is about 100 students. So in 4 years, we have about 400 students
Wow.
uh,
Right.
that are not currently getting any Clark degrees, but they are taking one third of their course load from Clark instructors.
Okay.
So most of the Clark instructors are part-timers because the full-timers here, are not able to drop everything and go for 8 weeks or 16 weeks. When they're on sabbatical, sometimes they go teach there, or if it's a shorter term, some of the full-time tenure track faculty members teach there as well. And during the pandemic, it was easier because it was online, because of the time difference, they were able to teach. But now, every semester, we try to find qualified part timers. And English, we have two, as you might have seen, two classes a semester. For the spring semester, we have two. And for the fall, we had two classes. And this will continue for this program, and we will need more instructors if the institute is approved by Ministry of Education in China, and Clark
Right.
University agrees with all their terms. It's
Right.
really
Right. Right.
difficult to deal with a Chinese institution.
Yes.
They want what they want, and they are not open to any kind of flexibility when it comes to such agreements. So
Right.
it's been challenging to say the least.
Right.
So my dean went there, my director, also associate dean, went there to continue the talks. They visited us in April, high-level visit to Clark University, just to push this forward. And we decided to wait till the inauguration, and we will restart,
Yeah. Okay.
the talks.
Yes. 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 Yeah.
Trying to figure out. But this doesn't mean that the program is a very well established, and it has been renewed for another
Yeah, that's that. Okay, that's
years.
wonderful. Yeah, I don't want to
So that's
say I don't. For the last year, I was just in northern China, right?
mhm.
So again, that's Mao Zedong territory, right? If you know your
Yeah,
history.
yeah,
So I don't want to paint my whole experience from of all of China because I was just visiting
yeah,
my wife, my son in northern China. I love Zhejiang, I love Shanghai, I love that area, right?
yeah.
So I've had a wonderful time
And
down there. Yeah.
yeah, when you're talking to the Chinese colleagues don't mention any negative feelings about any part of
Oh,
China. They can be very
yeah, no,
sensitive.
oh, no,
Yeah.
no, no.
So it's
No,
between
I know
us,
that. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
that. But see, it's reverse because then
Yeah.
we're Americans. They'll categorize us with a broad stroke, right? Especially if they've
That's
never
right.
been
Yeah.
there. So they
Mhm.
just think that we all voted for Trump and every like it's that we're
Yeah.
all in the same team, right? And I said, well, yeah, like exactly, like things could get better. Well, you don't know with the
Yeah.
relationship, right? You got to let
And
him.
Hefei is a big city. I mean, before I went there, I mean, of course I knew the population, and a medium-sized city is 10 million.
Right. Yeah.
I
You're
mean,
right. Right.
so where you were was a really small town, 500,
Yes. Half a million
thousand
people is a
is,
small town,
yeah,
right?
that's
Yes. Yes.
nothing. That's a village
Yes.
actually.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Yeah. Shanghai is pretty close by bullet train. It is two
Great.
and a half
Yes.
hours.
Yes.
When our faculty goes to Hefei, they normally fly to Shanghai, and from there they take the train. This is what I did as well when I
Yes.
visited last year. So was it last year? Last academic year. So when people in academia talk, last year is different.
Right. Right. Right.
Anyway, so yes, we have the semester starting in March,
Okay.
and it goes till mid-July. So it is different from what you might be used to in the US, starting, mid-January, late January, ending in mid-May. And their semesters are a little bit longer than ours.
Yes. Yes.
So one course is actually three sections. So either business English. I would recommend business English with your background. I
Yeah, I
was
prefer
again
that. I
reviewing.
find it more interesting for me. It's
Mhm.
English gets a
Yeah,
little dull. Like just teaching
yeah,
English. Yes.
and I think students would benefit from all the life experience and professional experience that you've had, and that's not well. The other course is also upper intermediate advanced level, but this
Right.
is more advanced.
I
So.
won't discuss
Um,
tariffs though.
Oh, of course not. No, no, no. Yeah.
The
If you
repercussions
want to
of
talk
tariffs.
about
Yes.
tariffs, just give me a call and we can
Right. Yes.
talk
Yes.
about it.
Yes.
But
Yes. Yes.
not with the students, not with the anyway instructors there. So we normally send about 7, 8 instructors, and some of them are continuing instructors. And in the ad as well, we mentioned that this can be a continuing position. It won't be full time until the institute has been approved and everything, because it is really difficult for Clark to have full time people on a site that we don't really offer degrees.
Right.
So their diploma does not mention Clark credit or anything like that. But when they are recruiting students, they even charge them a little bit more than other Chinese institutions, saying
Right.
that this is a special program where 1/3 of all your courses are taught by American teachers.
Yes.
And
Yes.
they always, of course, I'm not a native speaker myself, but they say, "Oh, we want native speakers when it comes to,
Right. Right.
yes, okay, but what does it mean? Can you
Right.
describe native
Right.
speaker, Anyway, but so there will be, we're only looking, well, we're trying to figure out a couple more instructors for the spring semester, and 2 of them are English positions.
Okay.
And one of the instructors that we worked with was a little bit older. You might know that they're not very welcoming to elderly people. And
Yeah,
elderly
is
meaning
it, they're
65
going
plus.
they're raising it because of the inverted pyramid, right? So there's now less younger people, so they're increasing the age of work. They're slowly the Chinese.
But
Yeah.
for American teachers, well, currently we only hire American citizens or green card holders, right? And people who are able to go are retired people over 65,
Right.
but they don't want it over 65. But as an American institution, we cannot put it on our ad saying that, oh,
Right. Sure.
older
Yeah.
people
Right.
cannot apply. I mean, it is
Right.
against law. But when it comes to a Chinese institution, we need to follow their rules as well. And getting a visa can be really difficult.
Yes.
We had somebody at the age of 64, 1 year before the cutoff, and they required additional documentation for that person. So this is something that, again, I only mentioned during a friendly conversation
Yeah.
with a candidate.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't think you're anywhere there, but it's just something that I'm putting
No,
out,
I'll be 50, although sometimes my body feels like I'm 65,
Yeah,
Dr. Balchi, but yes.
yeah, yeah. So normally, as you know, we don't ask how old people are, or
Yeah,
we never, talk
right.
about these things. But
You need to
anyway,
submit your passport at some point, so then they
that's right. Yeah,
get.
yeah. So, as I was saying, for the English position, either for the academic writing one or the business English one, it is 12 hours a week.
Okay.
So 4 hours per section, repeated 3 times.
Okay.
Um, and it's normally the same content for each section, but they don't want to combine sections. And of course, the classes are large classes still, 30 plus students. You don't want to have 50 students in a language class, even though it is business
Right.
English.
No,
You
no,
want
yeah.
smaller classes. So, yeah, the timing of the classes can be 4 days a week. I know that you might want to continue your coaching or some other things, which are totally fine with us, as because it's not a full-time position; it's a part-time position.
Right,
But at
that's
the
what
same
yeah,
time,
sorry to
it has,
interrupt. Is that so
yeah.
do we have faculty housing on campus?
There is faculty housing. Most of the people who they don't go with their family.
Right.
So there is a hotel, long-term stay hotel right outside the campus, a walking distance.
Oh, great.
So
That's good though. Yeah.
so that's, I mean, even couples stayed there, but my impression of it is, and they offer free breakfast in the morning, just like a hotel, and it is multi-story, and there are lots of restaurants there, and it is free accommodation for our faculty.
Okay.
It's paid by the host institution.
Great.
But
Okay.
if there's a family situation, there is a faculty housing on a different campus of HFUT, which is about 45 minutes away.
Okay.
So it is more like an apartment style.
Okay.
But yes, Clark pays for the health insurance,
Okay.
international health insurance, which is not very common for part-time positions.
Yeah.
But this is something that we want to make sure that our faculty members are covered in case
Yeah,
of
okay.
an emergency. And then the pay is bi-weekly, paid, deposit to an American bank.
Oh, an American
that's-
bank. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's the first time this has ever happened or ever been. Usually, it has to be a Chinese bank. Yeah.
No, we don't deal with Chinese banks
Okay.
because they did it with the other institution that we had partnership with, and
Right.
withdrawing money was an issue.
Right.
All these. So people, I don't know how they figure out. Well, you can transfer money to your Chinese account or your
Right.
international account and withdraw it, but it is paid in dollars. It's paid by Clark University,
Okay.
and you're a Clark
Interesting.
University employee.
Right. Okay.
So other than that, the pay is $12,000 per semester. It has been increased 10%. It was 10,500. I know that it's not a lot for the amount of time and the work, but when I talked to the American English teachers, international English teachers teaching at a Chinese institution, they make that much money a year,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No.
they're paid.
I'm familiar. Yes. I've been teaching at
So,
Chinese
no,
universities. Yeah.
For me, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, $12,000 is not a lot.
No, especially in
Living
in
here.
Boston and in Chicago. Yes. you
Yeah,
can't,
I
yes.
mean, it is like a joke, and then you
Right.
pay taxes out of it. But the advantage of this, we also provide, accommodation, or the
Right,
host institution
sure.
provides accommodation.
Sure.
And the life cost of living there, you might know, is very affordable.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
compared to the U.S., when I was there, I was enjoying shish kebab, lamb shish kebab.
I know.
for
I
$5.
know. Except
Yeah, it's
Shanghai.
just like
Shanghai
you.
is still a little bit pricey, but
Yeah. But Hefei is reasonable.
Yes.
I mean, it is close to big cities. It's a big
Yeah.
city
Oh, I
itself.
love that area, Suzhou. Yes, and I actually I taught for a year in Zhejiang in Jiaxing, so one of
Mm,
one of the seven old water cities outside of Shanghai. So I love that
yeah.
area. I love the weather. The weather is very nice. So
Hmm.
yes.
Yeah. So yeah, the salary, I'm straightforward with the salary, and there is not much room for negotiation
Right.
because if somebody doesn't like the amount of money that we are able to pay for this position,
Hmm.
there's no need to go through formal, interview
Right.
process, and if they are not able to drop everything and go for 4 months, 16
Yeah.
weeks, another deal
Yeah,
breaker.
no, I'm very intrigued. That's wonderful. It's and then for me here, so I think the Chinese have made it easier, right? Because they're having economic issues as well as they want more teachers now to
Yeah.
come back into China. So we actually have a
Hmm.
Chinese embassy in Chiang Mai. So I'm in northern China. So if I'm not mistaken,
Okay.
I think I could just get another entrance or the X visa, right, or to work from this location, right, and then fly in directly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can work. I mean, as I said, after the interview and
yeah,
everything goes well, we also reimburse you for the visa expenses.
right,
If you
right,
need to travel
right.
somewhere, if you go to an embassy, you just pay for all these expenses for our instructors.
Yes, great.
And then we also help. Um, there is a stipend for travel to Hefei, and
Oh,
after
that's nice. Yeah,
it ends,
good.
yeah. So it is $3,500. So you
Okay.
don't need to submit anything for that.
Yeah,
I
I'll,
mean,
I'll
you
I'll
can be
save
coming
money
from the
because
U.S.
I'm
You
closer
don't
in
need to say I
Thailand. So
have two
yes,
hundred
yes,
dollar
yes,
flight.
yes, yes.
Maybe you're visiting your family in Chicago.
Right.
We don't want to ask questions. We don't
Okay.
want receipts. We just add that because it used to be, there's a travel agency that the university works with, and then people can ask for reimbursement. But then depends on, how long the layover
Right,
is
right,
and all
right.
these things from where you fly. And it can be anywhere between 1,500 to 3,000.
Yes,
So we said, okay, no questions asked. We are going to add 3,500 as a stipend to the instructor's salary. So it will
yes.
be kind of part of your salary, paid every 2 weeks.
Okay,
So that's something that we do for our faculty as
great,
well.
great.
Do you have any other questions about?
No, no, it was a
Uh,
pleasure. Yeah, sorry again for yesterday. I
no, no,
just
don't worry.
arrived. I've just been here not less than 2 weeks, so I was happy to get on
Yeah.
with the language center. So I'm teaching IELTS and business English there.
Hmm.
So yeah, I love Thailand, but just to be closer, and then hopefully my son and wife can fly down for whatever amount of time, a couple weeks here and there. So
Yeah,
that would be great. But
that's
yeah,
great.
northern China. Yeah, I won't discuss this with the Chinese, but quite different if you visit
Hmm.
Beijing, and especially during economic uncertainties, right? And
Yeah.
everyone's
Hmm.
paranoid and
Yeah.
right. So, but I think Shanghai and Hefei, it's a little bit more my style, a little bit more relaxed.
Yeah. And I can tell you right now that I will recommend you for the interview.
Thank you.
And
Yes.
if you focus on your English teaching experience in a classroom setting, that
Yes.
would be great. Because
Okay.
if they will look at your CV, and most of them are tutoring. I mean, there's one-on-one, but
Yes.
this is a classroom setting,
Yes.
and talking about, how you teach and all that. So the focus will be more academic
Great.
for the interview, not
Yeah, and
the
I'm
nice
happy
story.
to substitute, right? So I think I'm definitely more than qualified for both the business and the English. So if there's if someone's sick, or I can substitute for the English side, right? If you place me in the business side, or vice versa, right? So I think I'm an
Yeah.
asset that
I
way.
think
Yeah.
it will be either course requires knowing how to teach languages, right?
Right.
Working with students and doing group work activities and helping them, correct their own mistakes and all
Yes.
that, the process writing. Business English has a writing component as well.
Right.
So it is not like, you say, okay, write a 5 paragraph essay on this topic, and then, you give them a deadline and then you grade what they produce. It
Right.
is a process writing. They write the first draft. You work with them about thesis statement and the topic sentence and, the vocabulary to use, how to avoid plagiarism. So uh, it sounds like I'm coaching you for the
No, no,
interview,
no,
but
no, no. I
just
appreciate this.
just
Yeah, no,
talking
no,
about
no.
these things would be
Yeah.
more valuable.
Did you, Dr.
Your
Balsi, do you feel one last question from me? But what are we
yeah,
preparing them for? Are they eventually getting their master's degree at Clark, or what are we preparing these Chinese students for?
we are helping them to be more proficient in English. They are not, so we have a 3+1+1 program, but only a few students come to Clark. So we want them to, they have a test. I forgot the name. There's 4 and 6. All the Chinese students take the high level English test to be able to graduate.
Okay.
So we are trying to help them to improve their English, written English, spoken English,
Okay.
and especially since they are part of their, they are in this program where the courses are taught by American faculty or
Right.
Western faculty. We would like them to be more fluent
Okay.
and more
Right.
confident with their English.
Okay.
So it either the English class or business class, they're both English classes.
Okay. Great. Oh, unstable. Sorry, lost you. Oh, are you there, Dr.
So
Balchi?
I would,
Okay.
oh,
Yes.
yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
think
Well,
the
yeah.
connection
That's
is a
just, yeah.
little bit.
Sorry. Just I don't know if it's my side or your side. I've got 4 bars here, but yes. Go ahead, Dr. Balchi. Yes. Oh, got cut off. Oh well. All right.
Yes,
Well,
I have
okay.
I have the same number,
Okay. Okay.
but that's okay.
Okay.
So,
But yes.
so the thing is just we will focus on the teaching style, your teaching style, how you interact with the students, making sure that no child left behind.
Yes.
Without
Right.
referring to
Yes.
Bush or anything, but
Yes.
making
Yes.
sure that all the students. And if you can think about the mixed ability students, there are no, pure homogeneous groups anyway. But
Right.
these groups, they are placed in a section not based on their English proficiency.
Okay.
And it's always it was my issue when I taught online, and I've been supervising the instructors teaching at this program. There are students who can sound like almost American educated,
Right.
college graduate level English.
Right.
And there are students who cannot talk about their weekends. One of the
Right.
things that I
Yeah.
do every Monday, for example,
Yeah.
I say, "How was your weekend?
Right.
Tell me something about your weekend." And as you know, Chinese doesn't have tenses on the verbs.
Right. Right.
And they
Yes.
say, Saturday I go to the bathroom. No.
Right. Yeah. Right.
I
Right.
go
Right.
to the gym. No,
Yeah.
I went to the gym.
Yes, yes.
It's very basic. It's lower intermediate level.
Yeah,
beginner
I
level,
find
but
I
just
speak
making sure
Chinese a
that-
little bit too. So right, so that I don't know. It depends on what the administration wants. So if I feel like they're sleeping, 为什么你睡着了? Right, I'll wake them up a little bit because like, oh my God, Teacher Cliff speaking Chinese, right, to wake them up a little bit. But sometimes,
Yeah.
but I'll try to just use the target language, right, English as much as
No,
possible.
don't mention. It is an advantage that you speak Chinese.
Yes.
But don't mention it in this context.
Okay,
We don't
okay.
want our instructors
Yes,
to
speaking
speak
Chinese,
any
yes.
Chinese,
Yes.
especially in an English class.
Right, right.
Business English or the other English.
Right.
In a content class, it was an issue. Some Chinese Americans, when they went there, they spoke some Chinese. It's a Clark course.
Right.
You represent Clark.
Right, right,
And you
right,
might
right.
speak 20 other languages. But
Yes.
you just stick to English.
Yes. But
during
I feel
and
like the
after
Chinese, they do a
before
wonderful job assessing. So I know we'll probably have mixed students within groups, and from your experience, right, with teaching with Clark. But I feel like they do a better job than some other nations that I've taught with in terms of the higher level abilities versus more advanced versus lower. But
I
yeah,
think
I
the
haven't taught
cohort
for
every
Clark
year-
yet. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
the cohort that comes in, they were divided into 3 random groups.
Okay.
Or based on their, party affiliation or how good of a soldier they will be.
Right.
This is a university where in their first year, they have to, wake up in the morning and do military training.
yes, yes.
So, the poor kids, they don't have
Right,
weekends,
right,
they don't
right,
have
right,
anything there. But
Right.
at the same time, we try to give them a break from, strict teacher image, whatever. They take English courses by Chinese teachers as well.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
we have
Yes.
other English courses.
Yes. Okay.
But we don't want to help them with
Yeah.
translation of a
Well,
book, for
that's and
example.
as you know very well, they're not used to the Socratic, the Western Socratic method,
Yeah.
right? They're used to the dictatorial. This is what you
Yeah.
do, right? Have a teacher just speaking the whole time, right? They're not used to the rhetoric and the questions. So
That's
it's
right,
all
yeah.
it's yeah, it blows their mind that a teacher is happy and smiling and asking questions. They're like, oh yeah,
And we try to teach critical thinking,
Right.
but not questioning things about China, questioning
oh
things
no,
about
never,
US.
never,
So
cannot,
I always
cannot.
I bring in politics. I mean, I
Yes.
use American politics or Turkish politics,
Yes.
just without talking about strongman dictator wannabes,
Right.
surveillance or anything like that. I remember there was a surveillance chapter in one of the books. I skipped that.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Surveillance
Oh, yeah,
thing or
yeah, for
something like
sure,
that.
yes.
So you don't want to make them think about such things. They
Yes,
can make a connection
yeah,
in
yeah.
their own free time, how terrible things are there.
Yes.
But at the same time, we don't want to talk about Taiwan, Hong
No.
Kong, or
Yes, of course. Yes. Yes.
of course, Uyghurs. The definite no,
Right.
And for me, being Turkish and feeling, what
Yeah,
is going on in
you are
China.
literally in the middle between.
Yeah, I know.
Yes,
Yeah, just
Yes.
but I have to bite my tongue and
Yes.
say.
Yes.
So as I said, I will send them an email
Okay.
tonight or morning. It
Great.
is China as well, and then I don't know if it will be before, but they don't really have the holidays. Christmas break. We might be able to get an interview soon. I don't know.
Okay.
if
Yeah, it's either
you're
sooner or they're
available.
having their winter festival, right, Dr. Balchi? So it's going to be. I think it's coming up here soon. So hopefully we can do this within the next several weeks.
Well, that's the hope because we would like, the visa might
Yeah,
take
yeah.
a month or
Yeah.
so, and we would like the person to be there March 3rd. So
Okay.
it is coming up pretty
Great.
quickly.
Great.
So yes, I'll be in touch, or you will hear from my colleague
Okay.
there. I'll ask them to see me as well, so that I know when the interview is.
Okay.
If I can, I would like to join the interview, but it is their kind of, they lead the questions.
Oh,
But
so
it
it's
is-
okay. So it's Chinese interviewers from the program.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, they have experience in language teaching.
Okay.
So it was funny that I mean, having a PhD in linguistics, I'm not saying it is.
Oh,
a
that
big
is
thing.
that's wow! If I had to switch my doctoral focus, I'm so envious, right? Because mine was in healthcare administration, like my master's. But now that I've
Yeah.
been teaching linguistics, right, for so long,
Yeah.
that's I'm very envious of your focus. Yes.
Yeah. Well, my focus was more theoretical linguistics than
Okay.
applied linguistics. But
Right.
my job requires more applied,
Yeah.
stuff. Language
Wow.
teaching.
Awesome.
But anyway, the point was when they offered me to teach a course, they interviewed me. It was a real interview, although I was a supervisor of the program.
Right.
So they even said, okay, this is a real, so it's a serious, they want to make it a serious interview. So
Yes.
that's not a warning, but just I'm preparing you. what to
Yeah,
expect.
no. I'm very familiar with the Chinese the Chinese interviewing process. But do
Yeah.
I not? You do not. 我不会中文可don't speak any Chinese with them during the interview. Okay.
No, don't.
听不懂，
they-
我听
they'll
不懂.
see that
I
you
don't
speak
understand.
Chinese.
Yes.
Yeah, they will see that the people who will interview you, they speak English, so that's
Right,
not a
right.
problem.
If they do, what if they ask me? If they look at my CV and say that I've taught in China? What if they ask me if I speak Chinese? What should I answer?
Yeah, you can say
Okay.
yes, I do in Chinese.
EDN,
but
a
then
little
they-
bit, a little bit.
When I
EDN.
teach,
Okay.
yeah, when
Okay.
I teach, I use the target language.
Okay. Yes.
So
Yes.
make a point of that because we have the lead instructor there that teaches economics, Ying Zhuan, and I think she is originally from Hong Kong, but she's a U.S. citizen. She's been teaching here.
Okay.
So students
Interesting.
never knew that she spoke Chinese. And
Right.
she's been teaching there for 10 years, maybe. She's one of our senior instructors there.
Yeah. Interesting.
They might see her name, Ying Zhuan,
Yeah.
but they never heard her speak any Chinese
Right, interesting. Yeah, my mother would do that too, and teaching only American born, but only teach French.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, that's just these are small tips for the
Yes,
interview.
thank you very much. Yes,
And I hope it goes well
yeah,
and we have the opportunity to work together
great.
and we will after that result comes in. Normally what happens is I talk to the candidate, we discuss these, uh, salary issues or
Yes,
other, issues, and then it goes to the second round and they send us their recommendation and the clerk makes the decision
right.
and the contract comes from clerk, not from
Okay.
HSE.
Ah, okay. Yeah, even better. Great.
But
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're part of the interview process. They might sound like they are the boss, they are making the decision, but we're partners in
Right,
decision making.
right.
Yeah.
Well, wonderful.
But we want
Yes.
somebody to
Yes.
be approved by them before we send them, right?
Right,
You cannot
right.
just unilaterally decide.
Yes, right.
Oh,
Yes,
I
right.
want Cliff, and we're sending him.
Yes.
You
You
like
need
it or
you
not,
need the, we need the Chinese red stamp of approval on our.
That's
yes,
right.
yes.
It is actually red.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
there's
yes,
stamp.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
So, but
All
it was
right,
a
well,
well,
have a
yes,
great
thank
day.
you. Apologies again for
Thank you.
yesterday. At least our
No
world
worries.
got some good news. The Syrian war is over, right? In Syria. You don't know?
Well, Libya war was over too.
Yeah. Well, what are you hearing from your friends and family in Turkey about the situation?
I mean, Turkey is a mess by itself. I my wonderful president doesn't want
Yes.
me back. As I am a terrorist.
You're
according to him.
you're in
He wants to
exile.
send me-
Uh-oh. We won't talk
Yeah.
about that either. I remember when he
Yeah, we're not
visited.
going to talk about that.
Yeah.
But the good thing is, I mean, some of the Syrian immigrants might be able to go back. So
Right.
that might
Yeah.
be
That's
positive
that's
thing.
great. Yeah.
So
Go back to
they
your
will go to their
yeah.
home country, and hopefully they will get back their homes or land that they will be able to continue
Yes.
their lives
Yes.
rather
yes.
than being in a different country.
Yes.
So that's my hope.
Yes, another
All right.
discussion later, Dr. Rolson.
Yes, we
yes.
can have these discussions in the
Yeah,
future.
yes.
All right.
All right, well,
Have
thank
a
you
good
so
day.
much. Yeah, pleasure meeting you. Yeah, and
you.
I look forward to the second interview. I'm going to have my hotel breakfast here, and then I'll email you some other documents that you might not, my Florida licensing, and then some other things that might be of benefit.
Licensing is K through 12 licensing, right?
Yes, I do. Yes, K through 12.
But in higher ed, it doesn't really
Right.
mean
Yes.
much,
Yeah,
to
I
be
agree
honest.
with you. Yes.
So
I
it
agree.
doesn't.
Okay.
It's not a factor. But
Okay.
the fact that I mean, it might help in the sense that you know how to teach.
Right.
So you can make the case without the documentation
Okay.
during the interview.
Yeah, I'll
You can
email
say
it
that
to
you
you. You're more than welcome
Yeah.
to share with them whatever you feel will
Okay.
quicken
Sure.
an
Yeah.
offer, I guess, right? So there
Yeah.
you go.
Thank
All right,
you. Yeah.
have a good evening in yes,
you.
in Massachusetts. I love that area. So yes. It's
Yeah,
cold
alright.
though. It's got to be cold there.
Today was 50 degrees.
Oh, that's not
But
bad.
it's gonna be 10. No, this is like not normal.
Right,
It's gonna go down
yeah.
to 10 degrees on the weekend.
Yes.
So it's
yeah.
just like weird climate change thing that 50
Yeah,
degree day
I
and then
agree. I'm
all
beginning
the
to get more climate agreeing with everything here. Yeah, as our world
time.
gets
One last thing, I was in Japan and Korea for recruitment in September, and it was so hot. I mean,
Yeah.
it was very hot for me. I can tolerate hot and humid, but it was like 100 degrees every day.
Wow,
And
in September.
It was the
Wow.
it was the warmest September for them too.
Yeah.
It's like, every day, every night it was extremely hot. So it's just
Yeah.
everywhere.
I'm hoping
These extreme weather.
when we get off fossil fuels more and more every year, that it'll cool our planet down. But
Yeah, that's another issue that
Yeah.
we can discuss later.
yes.
But you can talk about climate change.
Yeah.
It's not as controversial. You can talk about how electric cars that the Chinese companies
Yes.
are
Yes.
making will help the.
I will. I
climate
will
change.
say this for them though. Like I mean, the air pollution was non-existent that I got back because I think of the electric vehicles and obviously the slower production. But wow, after 10 years, you could finally breathe in northern China. So it was wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't notice anything terrible in Hefei. In the fall that I visited, it seemed okay. It didn't.
Right.
It's not like hard to breathe. Or
No,
of course,
yeah,
if you
yeah.
check the air quality, it looks terrible
Right,
compared to the
right,
US. You know, don't look at the numbers. Just
right.
don't
Yeah,
go
if you
with
can
the
see
flow.
clouds, it's okay, I guess.
Yeah.
And if the clouds are blue, well, thank you. You're a very interesting man. So hopefully we'll work together again.
Thank you.
But
Thank you. You
yeah,
are too.
oh no, 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 no. But thank you so much. Yeah, have a good evening, and yeah, I look forward to the second
All right.
round of interviews here. Okay, bye bye, Dr. Balcer. Bye
Thank
bye,
you.
bye
See
bye,
you.
bye bye, bye bye.
Bye bye.